We named it intelligence before it was intelligent, and now we're doing it again. In 1956, a young computer scientist named John McCarthy organized a summer workshop at Dartmouth College. He needed a name for the proposal, something that would set his work apart from Norbert's Wiener cybernetics, something that would attract funding and attention. And he chose artificial intelligence. It was a pitch, not a description. The systems they were building couldn't think, couldn't reason, couldn't understand a sentence. They could follow rules, smart rules written by smart people, but rules nonetheless. And that was 70 years ago. And the name stuck. Today, systems are better, much better. They predict which word comes next in a sentence so well that it feels like understanding. They generate images so precisely that it feels like seeing, and they answer questions so fluently that it feels like knowing. But prediction isn't comprehension. A system that can finish your sentence hasn't understood your sentence. It just calculated the next probable word based on every sentence it's ever been trained on. That's remarkable engineering. It's not intelligence. And in 1980s, a philosopher named John Searle proposed a thought experiment. Imagine a person locked in a room with a book of rules of responding to Chinese characters. Messages come in, the person looks up the correct response and writes it down, passes it out. The people outside, to them, this looks like the room speaks Chinese. But the person inside understands nothing. The room follows the rules perfectly. The room doesn't know how that actually works. There's a gap, the gap between performing the task and understanding the task. And that gap is the word intelligence, the thing that we're papering over right now. And the same trick is being repeated. The industry looked at systems that predict text and generate images and said the next step is artificial general intelligence, AGI, a system that can do anything a human mind can do. That's a second floor being built on a building that doesn't exist. We haven't even proven the first claim. We haven't shown that these systems understand anything at all. We've shown that they're fast, they're useful, and they're convincing. But convincing isn't the same as intelligent. But the name did its work, and people believe the first floor is solid. So nobody questions the plans for the second. The companies building these systems know this. One of them spent years chasing AGI as its stated mission, and their CEO called it not a super useful term. The term did what it needed to do. Now it's being quietly retired before anyone asks for the proof. I've spent years building tools that sit next to these systems. I've watched them work, and they're genuinely impressive. Smart engineering by smart people solving hard problems. But calling it intelligent has consequences. And I say that because it shapes what people expect. It shapes what governments try to regulate. It shapes what companies are allowed to promise. And the question was never whether the machine is intelligent. The question is why we keep saying it is.